here we are.
Here we are with Billy Power of Blenderhead fame or notoriety or, I don't know, whatever you want to call it at this point.
You have to mention my new band, though, because my best friend Mike gets on my ass all the time about I don't do enough to tell people about my current band. So.
Right. Well, let's get started with the current band because that is what you are doing as a creator at the moment.
Yeah. I started the project a number of years ago where I played basically everything on the record. The first couple records, I played everything, wrote all the songs except for drums. And then when I moved to Nashville 5 years ago, I got a proper band together. And that group of people has done a full-length record, an EP, and then we're finishing up my fourth full-length record with this band. So the most that I've ever done with a band for sure. So we're just did some guitars here with Josh and on Sunday, and he's going to come back tomorrow, and we have three more songs to go and then send it off to mix. I think Jeremy Griffiths is going to mix this record. He did Norma Jean and Gasoline Heart and a lot of cool records. He lives here in town, of course, now. Moved here from Florida. So finishing that up, and then 10 Killer, the band I play bass in, Mike Lewis from Puller and For Love Not Lisa, that's his band with Clint that was also in For Love Not Lisa, and I play bass in that band and sing background vocals, and I produced that record. So I'm actively playing in both of those bands and doing shows and records and all that stuff.
I don't think you mentioned the first band's name.
Spoken in Tongues. How did I do that? See, I'm so terrible at this. I'll get good. I'll get good.
Well, that's what we're here for. I'm here to make sure you mention the important things.
We had to talk about how I just spent a small fortune on Moment, that camera company Moment accessories for my new iPhone, because I'm now going to start making music videos for my band too. So
I mean, we're in the age where it's if you have the idea, just do it.
Yep.
We don't wait for anyone.
Exactly. Well, and I can't afford to pay somebody to do that. So
right.
Nothing from nothing's nothing. Yeah. I can do that. Even I can do that math.
Right. Yeah. Doesn't add up when it's just a bunch of zeros.
Exactly. But it is cool, all the gear that they have now. It's got this little cage thing that's like a hub, and you can mount monitors and all kinds of handles and all kinds of stuff.
Right. Are you going to do just kind of a live recording? Or are you going to do kind of a
I'm going to do story stuff. I like the title track from the new record. The new record's called The Most Lethal Fighting Force in the World, which was a thing that Kamala Harris said on the campaign trail that super triggered me, and then I kind of flipped it on its head. I just thought what are you talking about, man? You're supposed to be the anti-war people. But so it's the idea is love's the most lethal fighting force in the world. So I'm doing this video where I ordered a heart mascot costume. Hold on, let me get it. It's so fun if you can see it. Hold on.
Be awesome.
So anyways, spoiler alert, that guy is going to be basically a person in that. It's a full costume, is going to be training like Rocky, running and doing lifting weights and whatever. And then eventually trying to tackle and chase probably me. I'll probably be the main person that's trying to get a hold of and whatever. So we'll see how that turns out.
Right. I mean, how fun is it to be able to just have this idea and run with it without anyone saying, we don't have money, we don't have a budget. It's just
I can shoot
make it happen.
K-Raw with this.
Yeah. It's crazy. The era we live in, I mean, there's no reason for anyone not to do something creative with their time.
Yep.
Me and my wife have been kind of more intentional to not watch TV as much, especially during the week. We're why we would spend so much time just sitting there on the couch. And so we are let's start reading books, or I started the podcast or working on music. It's the possibilities are endless of what you can do with your time, as long as you're just willing to do it.
I need to do more of that. I've been binge watching X-Files. It's not very productive on the creative end. I'm squeezing in the creativity around it, but
X-Files is epic, so you get a pass for that for sure.
It's just good every time. It's just so never good. Not good. It's the best.
I've actually been like telling my wife we need to rewatch X-Files again.
Have you really?
Yeah, because we watched it probably all the way through. It may have been before kids, but I remember when that was, you know, a new show, and we would, me and my dad and my brother, we would sit on that couch every time, and it's just
so good, man.
It's still, I just love it.
Iconic.
Yeah.
I love all the, I love the variety of the show that you have, like the ongoing, like conspiracy UFO stuff. And then you have these standalone monsters like Tombs with the, you know, the guy squeezing through the ductwork. And you have the one where it had Jim Rose sideshow people on there. And just like, you have all these cool, like standalone episodes that are so great. And it's just fun. That's just great.
Yeah. And then some of the ones I think Duchovny like directed were like so wild, but like it still like worked so well in that world.
Yeah, that's good. I've been hearing that they might do another run of that, which is always makes me a little nervous, but I don't know.
Yeah, that would make me nervous too.
Yeah, I mean they've both stayed acting and doing stuff, so I mean it's just it always comes down to the writing and the directing and editing and all that.
Did you get into like was it The Lone Gunman? The little spin-off of that?
Oh, I never watched The Lone Gunman. I like those characters, but I never watched that for whatever reason.
It lasted one season.
I mean, maybe I will. You never know.
I enjoyed it for what it was because they are just like goofballs and they are like, you know, great characters. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't not quite the same, but it was fun for what it was.
No Scully, so forget it.
Right. Yeah. Actually, they didn't have Scully, but they had some other. I don't know if she was an agent or. Oh, I think she was a hacker.
Yeah, I love like how the one guy always had a openly crush on her. He's like, anytime he meets Mulder, he's like, "How's Agent Scully doing?" or whatever. Like, you always have to bring it up.
Yeah, that was great. I mean. You are. I think you're solidifying my desire to pull those out because I think I have most of them on DVD.
So good. I just started. They did the 2-parter end of season 3, beginning of season 4, when cigarette smoking man gives Mulder's mom a stroke, basically, and then she's in the hospital, and then they're discovering the guys going around with the stabby pen things that, and they're trying to, there's that one guy that there's like 50 of him or something, like he healed the people in the McDonald's or whatever. So so stay tuned next season. Nope. Right, I'm going to go right on to that right now.
Straight into it. Yeah. There's no waiting. Yeah.
My dangerous but also awesome.
Yeah, my wife's from Oregon, and so I'm like, every X-Files is like based in Oregon for a reason.
Vancouver's like where they shot a lot of it. I think Vancouver.
Yeah, Canada. She was Beaverton, Aloha area. So I'm like, this is probably why it creeps her out because this is all like, this is where she grew up.
It's too real.
It's too real. So good. So besides the bands you're in now. I remember at one point seeing that you were working for, was it a nonprofit? Was it like School of Rock or?
Well, School of Rock's a for-profit. I did work at School of Rock. Yeah, okay. I managed a school in Red Bank, New Jersey for 4 years. It was actually one of the best jobs I ever had. And yeah, it was just it was a company-owned school. It's a franchise organization, but that was like a legacy kind of. It started in Philly way back in the day. This guy Paul started the School of Rock and it was awesome. It was just so cool to see kids come in that couldn't put 2 chords together and sort of find their tribe and find their people. And I've stayed kind of up with a lot of my former students there's a group of girls that there was 2 twin girls that were in a lot of the performance seasons at my school. And they were friends with these other girls. And even though they've all gone off to college and everything like that, they all come back in the summer and you see them on Instagram going to concerts together and playing music and doing all that stuff. Is very satisfying to just kind of see that you're able to plant that seed with some people and that they were, if they weren't into sports or whatever, like, you know, to kind of find their people or whatever was just a great feeling, but it wasn't super high paying. job, and I had an hour commute going in each direction. And
yeah.
I don't know, it was kind of at the tail end of doing music stuff for a career. I was just making less and less money every year, and just getting older and just trying to figure out how to do things. And so at the very tail end of that, I went back to college and got my bachelor's, and then I was working full time in the city for Con Ed and going to school during the day and not sleeping much. I knocked that out in 4.5 years. And then I graduated like at peak COVID basically and moved back to Nashville in 2020. I went from being in New York, where it was like the number one place in the country, I was working in the safety crew with Con Ed, like working overnights in Manhattan. And I remember taking break and us being the only people in Times Square. It's like a cop car and our truck, and that was it. And
That's
then,
wild.
and then I came to Nashville in December of 2020, right after graduating, and then this became like the number one place because everybody's like, I don't need to wear a mask, or whatever, don't tread on me. So, and then, it was weird. It was a wild time. So, like 1 minute I'm going to see Strike Anywhere in Asbury Park, and then no shows for like, I don't know, year and a half or longer.
Yeah. I remember going to a show early March. It was the Face Down Fest at Chain Reaction.
R.I.P.
Yeah. And it was like, 2 weeks later, everything was just shut down. And you're just like, that was weird. And I remember that night seeing one kid just wearing a mask, like stage diving. Yeah. I was like, well, that's weird. I don't see masks very often.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, it was like, well, we all have to wear these now.
Yeah.
That kid knew.
This has been my least favorite timeline for the last decade. This has not been a good time in general. And society and COVID and all that. I don't know. It's just one thing after another.
And there hasn't been any positive.
Not to be a downer, but if I was to look back on the last, almost 60 years now of my life, it's not my favorite era.
No.
Some really good things have happened, and I have some great friendships and some good stuff, still happens, but generally speaking, not a fan.
Yeah. I mean, you look back at history and it seems like every few generations there are moments like this, and you're always kind of like, well, that sucks for them that they went through that. And then you're like, oh, I'm living in the current one. Like, my kids are going to be like, man, that must have sucked for you.
Yeah.
But
like the 60s. Like turbulent, like a lot of keep people getting killed left and right, and assassinations and the Vietnam War and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, which created the love movement in the 70s.
Yep.
And then you had the 80s, Coke era.
I guess. I'll take your word for it.
Well, I just watched the movie Miracle about the USA team.
Yeah, it's a good
one.
And
they kind of go into, just that era. It was like the height of the Cold War, and like everyone's depressed. It was bad recession. It's like,
yeah,
like, all right, we can survive.
Speaking of winter sports and drug use, did you see that guy that was a former Olympian, Canadian Olympic snowboarder, became like one of the FBI top 10 most wanted drug lord people somehow?
I did see that headline.
That's an interesting career pivot. I used to be a snowboarder, and now I'm El Chapo of Canada or something.
Yeah, I just saw the headline. I was like, wait, he's wanted for like drug trafficking, murder.
Yeah.
And like,
they think he killed like a witness, in South America.
I thought snowboarders are supposed to be like chill, and
they are. Damn.
He forgot to take his medicine, I guess.
I don't know.
That's wild.
Late stage capitalism makes a lot of people make weird choices. So, you can't fault them in that regard,
Well, I mean, you could stop before you murder someone, I guess.
Yeah, maybe stop short of murder or selling drugs, I guess, is probably not a great thing to be doing.
Yeah, probably not.
Thanks for helping me clarify that at times.
Yeah. Well, did you actually like grow up in like Washington?
Nope.
Where was Blenderhead from?
Well, Blenderhead was Seattle, but that was way down the road.
Okay.
I mean, like, I was born in Spokane, Washington. When I was a baby, my mom got multiple sclerosis. And at the time, the only place that you could get treatment for that was at UCLA Medical Center in LA. And my grandparents lived down there, and my aunt and uncle, that my dad's sister and her husband. And so we moved to South Bay. And so I grew up in the South Bay. Got a South Bay tattoo there. A little black flag, Descendants, paying tribute to my upbringing there in the 70s. But yeah, my grandpa and my dad were high school music teachers. And so I grew up in that area. And then we moved to San Diego to Fallbrook. So I lived there for a couple of years for middle school and then high school in San Diego proper. And then I started playing in bands then. Like my high school punk band played with the Crucified at their first show ever in like 1986 in Fresno. And that's when I became friends with Mark through like fanzine correspondence and exchanging flyers and stuff. And then we came up and played that show with him. And then I went in the Army, and then I was stationed in Germany. And then I came back on leave to Seattle. My parents had moved to Seattle. And then I got out of the Army the summer of 1990 and moved to Seattle, where I was enrolled in school at the Art Institute, which I did a music business program there for like one semester and failed out. So I was like working at McDonald's as like a janitor, and I just couldn't do it. Yeah. And so then that's kind of, I started playing in bands. I played in this band called Gloria. I played in this band called Ashes to Ashes. I started a production company. I started putting on shows of like local bands from Portland and Seattle and all that. And then I met Matt and Ed from Don't Know, like at this crusade thing, weirdly. And then I think some guy that's been in trouble now. I can't remember his name. It's not important. I mean, aren't they always in trouble? But they were like the only like different weird looking people there or whatever. I met those guys, and then I convinced them to start Blenderhead with me. And then, yeah, so that's kind of the evolution of that. I was putting on shows, and then the first Blenderhead show was a show that I put on also with the Crucified. I rented a hall in Federal Way, Washington, and it was like The Guilty, which was Damien Gerardo and Dave Bazan's punk band. That was kind of like Minor Threat-ish kind of hardcore band. That Dave Bazan was the drummer and Damien was the singer. And then at that time, Brian Gray from The Blamed was the bass player in Blenderhead. And there's a different guy playing guitar and Matt playing drums. And then shortly after that, Ed joined, and then I got Paul from Don't Know to join. Basically stole their whole band except for their singer. And then we played a college show at Concordia College, and Evan was there at that show and met us, and then he joined on guitar after that.
It's wild. I mean, that's almost like a all-star band.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it was a cool time. It was a cool time, man. I mean, to move to Seattle the summer of 90 when I lived downtown on 2nd Avenue. I could walk to the Crocodile Cafe, and the Moore Theater was on my block. The Sub Pop Mega Mart was like in the cluster of buildings that my apartment building was in, free shows with like Sunny D Real Estate at Seattle Center. And I remember that I went to the Free Drop in the Park show with Pearl Jam and Cypress Hill and Seaweed, just, I don't know. They were filming that movie Singles. There's just, all kinds of crazy stuff happening and tons of shows. And they had this festival Bumbershoot every year where everybody would play at that thing, which was cool. But yeah, and I lived downtown for $500 a month. Didn't even have a car and just took the free ride bus to the Tooth and Nail office and whatever,
That's wild.
So yeah, I just kind of stumbled into the whole Tooth and Nail thing. I mean, Brandon came to that show, the Crucified show that I put on. And then I met Mikey Bridges from Sometime Sunday pretty early on. He was at a Scattered Fuse show in Tacoma at the Temple Theater that a friend of mine was putting on that show, and I ran lights at that show, and I met him there. And we were just kind of trying to like, no one was ever coming up there, as weird as that sounds now, but no bands were really coming up to the Northwest to play. So we were trying to figure out a way that's like, if you come as far as Portland, we can get you a show in Seattle and a show in Vancouver, Canada, or whatever, kind of trying to network and create like a little thing. And then Brandon had come to that. And then that show I mentioned really early on in this discussion that Dirk and I played, that was when Dirk was in Focused. So a show I put on was Wish for Eden, Focused, and Blenderhead. And that was the first Tooth and Nail tour. That was like Wish for Eden, Pet the Fish had just come out as the first record on Tooth and Nail. And then Focus Valve, they had just gotten copies of it and we're selling them in the kitchen of the house where we did this house show. And then we played with them at the Crocodile also. But yeah, that was in 93, something like that. And then we got signed after that house show. And then I convinced Brandon to let me do Tooth and Nail mail order out of my apartment. And we were off to the races. And I helped him move the label to Seattle. And
So
Did that for 10 years.
My early Tooth and Nail stuff probably was shipped by you then.
Undoubtedly, yeah.
Because I think 94 was when me and my brother kind of discovered it. He's 2 years older, so I was kind of getting the trickle down effect because he and his friends were going to music at shows at that point. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy to think how many people were actually influenced by what you guys did at that time.
That's cool. That's I mean, it's like it was like I've said no to most of these kind of things and talking about a lot of this stuff because it's not, in retrospect, a lot of it was, I mean, I went through 2 divorces in my time, like 1 divorce in that time and then whatever, I don't know. It wasn't all fun for me.
Right, yeah.
So there was lawsuits and things that, sort of have colored that time. On the other side of that, though, almost every one of people that I'm hanging out with all the time. I mean, Bruce Fitzhugh's coming over to record some stuff for the song on Thursday. Dirk was just over here. We go to shows together. Mike's my best friend. I see him like every Saturday. We have breakfast. I work for him now at Bison. I worked for him at Zambui. Like all my meaningful friendships and everything have come out of that. And that's to me the most beautiful thing. And even just how I operated. I mean, unfortunately, the music business was part of that whole thing, which is something I never cared about at all. Like I just wanted to help my friends and put out music and be part of music. And I didn't even know what that looked like. I didn't know anything about anything. I just kind of, fell into it. And, when you're 22, 23 years old, so don't know anything about anything. So, yeah. But yeah, it's cool that some of those, artists are still performing and still making music and, like Slick Shoes still making records and, Further Seems Forever guys and Dashboard and all, a lot of things that have come out of all that. Just cool to see people still doing stuff. And Adam Nye from Craig's brother doing Too Bad Eugene, still making records. They're just finishing up another record right now. Yeah. So it's cool. It's really cool just to have been part of something that meant something to people and still means something to people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I was a teenager at the beginning. So I was 15 in 95. And I mean, I remember all the like Chain Reaction show flyers, and it was like, all these, there was multiple like Christian shows because those were the ones I was allowed to go to. And then it's like all the other bands. I'm like, oh, those are all my favorite bands now, but I wasn't allowed to go. But looking at those flyers, like there was a plethora of music for people like me who, my parents weren't allowing me to listen to Black Flag and Minor Threat at home.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And it's like, we weren't at a loss for good music because of what you guys kind of did.
That's cool.
And it was influential. Like, I talked to a bunch of like hardcore people who are like Focused, Unashamed. We're all influential to them. And they're like, I'm not even a Christian,
Yeah, that's cool.
It was good music, and I felt like after all of that, the Christian scene kind of like, there's not so great music anymore, Yeah. It's not great. But
my relationship to all that stuff is a little different because I was older. So I didn't, even though my father went to seminary and I grew up in the church and went to like no one, like that didn't even exist when I was of the age that you're talking about. So it was like, I'm listening to KROQ. I'm like listening to Plasmatics and Suicidal Tendencies and X and Adolescence and all this stuff and whatever. And then it wasn't until years later that they're like, oh, there's like the Altar Boys and whatever. I'm like, what is this? I've never even heard of this. So it was weird. It was weird that people were like, oh, you can only listen to this now. Like, why?
Yeah. My dad made me take back a 10-foot pole CD because it had like Damn in it or something.
No. Oh boy. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I mean,
it's common.
It is. And, in the car with my friends, we're, blast Black Flag, Minor Threat, 7 Seconds, I didn't get away from it. Sure. I just hit it a little better. But
I had to hide my leather jacket from my dad. He used to stuff it into the seat in my truck. And then somebody told on me, I guess. He's like, oh, you think I don't know you have a leather jacket? What do you care?
But I mean, I think because of what you guys had, like there wasn't any Christian industry at that point. You were listening to just punk music or alternative music. That's probably why you guys created such good music.
Maybe.
because you
I'll let you say that. I don't know if that's true. But.
I mean, you had influences that were real.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just some kid who is writing fluffy Christian lyrics and, your influences were living through rough times, obviously, through the 60s and 70s. So it's like there's real emotion in those lyrics. Yeah. So I think that translated to how you guys wrote later.
Yeah, we were trying, especially when I started Blenderhead, the whole idea of that was just to be a band. Right. We played regular shows. Until we went on tour, we never played at church. We only just played regular clubs at regular shows.
Right.
And then we got suckered into going on that tour with MXPX, which was fun. But then we just got in, it's like 2 shows in, some guys yelling at me like, what about Jesus or something? I'm like, come on, man. What are we doing here? You can go to church. You can get that. That's wasn't about all that.
Just have good music.
Yeah. I was never, maybe in high school, I felt the guilt to proselytize or something, whatever, in my high school punk band a lot more. And I did some regrettable things like kicking out our guitar player because he's getting too worldly or something or whatever. Right. So I'm not guilt free in that regard, but that was a short lived period of my life. Yeah. And then after that, I was like, this isn't where it's at, man. Just trying to do real stuff. Our big thing in thinking in that was Frankie Schaefer's book, Addicted to Mediocrity. I don't know if you've ever read that book, but that was like a sort of a seminal kind of thing of like, there's no Christian world and secular world. There's just one world.
There's one world. Yeah.
That was like the main thesis of that book. And that was a huge paradigm shift for me in the way that I looked at everything. It was like,
Yeah. If you can't be a light if you're just surrounded by a light.
Right. And there was like Bad Brains, there was Circle One that was blatantly, thinking about God and stuff. There was Billy Zoom from X is a believer. John Maher that played in Social Distortion was a believer. Right. I met Joe Escalante from the Vandals at this conference in France and found out he was like a devout Catholic. And like he actually has his pick guard to even today is like the Pope, like on his like bass on like whatever. So it's kind of, I don't know. There's a lot of secret like people out there involved in the scene and everything like that all along that,
we're
believers or whatever.
When I was heavily shooting a local Orange County hardcore scene, I was the older person at that point. Mm-hmm. And, I always went into it, they're singing like very anti-Christian lyrics and stuff. And, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, I don't care. I mean, you probably have a reason for it. So. Yeah.
Just say
whatever.
That's one way of looking at it.
Yeah. I'm like, I've met some people too that would make me think that way.
Yeah.
But my whole thing was like, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to love on them. I'm going to shoot photos for them. I'm going to buy their records, support them, because what they were doing was incredible. I mean, they were putting on all of these shows on their own. Mm-hmm. And I didn't have that in my high school era. And so I would just go in there and support them. And I remember one guy like turning to me one time. It's like, wait, I found out you're a Christian. I'm like, yeah. It's like, wow. And, I've never met a Christian as cool as you. I'm like, I'm sorry.
What a terrible review.
Yeah.
That's a bad Yelp review for us.
Right. Yeah. So I was just like, well, I'm sorry. But, not all of us are, judgmental and out to rip you down, So I think it came with a lot of like wisdom that I had to gain through going through. And I mean, I've done the same things too, where you're like, wait, why did we do that? Maybe we should have like supported them more instead of like kick them out. But I'm sure we could get,
if you want to follow the gospel as I understand it.
Right.
That's the option.
Exactly.
Just to love your neighbor as yourself. Who's your neighbor? Everyone's your neighbor. Everyone. Not just the people that do what you think is right or believe the right thing and check all the right boxes. And there was no conditions to any of that. So it's like, that's a man-made construct that we've put together. It's like, you got to believe in predestination, or you got to believe in this, or you got to cut your hair and you can't wear black or what.
No tattoos. You can't drink. You can't. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. And I think that came, with a lot of, just self-reflection, and you're like, wait a minute, the whole message is this. These are the two important things. Love God and love your neighbor. What are we doing here?
That's a really good question, Chad.
Right.
We really all need to be asking that.
Yeah.
We've allowed everything to be co-opted by interlopers. That's the way I look at it.
Well, we could probably go off on that tangent for a very long time. So
everyone knows. I think everyone's aware.
So
the state of things.
Yeah. So let's move into more positive things. And what does it mean to you to live a life of creation?
I think like I mentioned earlier, like that I super regretted ever stopping playing music. Kind of when Blenderhead ended, didn't end that great, and I just was sort of like, I got into a relationship and as we all do, and was just sort of carrying on with my life or whatever. But it's always like in the back of my head, I want to do something. And these days, man, I mean, it's the only way to balance out working. I mean, if I had a choice, I certainly would never work for the man and do any kind of straight job. My current job is actually really great. I didn't work all last year, and I got this job working with Mike, and it's been really good. And it's a small family-owned company, and minimal amount of meetings. I'm working remote. It's for me a dream scenario, but still, I don't care about it. Like commerce, I could not be less interested in money and commerce and marketing of goods and all that kind of stuff, which is why I'm terrible at marketing my band or music or anything. It's not a value for me at all. Like it's like Rick Rubin, I think, says the thing is you doing it. Right. It's like, I made this thing. Here it is. Whether people like it or not, whether it resonates with them or anyone buys it or doesn't buy it or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's that idea that you're doing something, you're communicating an idea, you're doing it for yourself. And if other people enjoy it, I think that's great. It's cool if they can do that. There's just always these other things that are, So if I have a weakness in creativity, it's that I learn enough to do whatever the thing is that I'm doing. Like, it's funny, like in our band, I write all the guitar parts for our guitar player. And I'm not a guitar player I played bass in all my other bands and piano before that and whatever. I can sort of put a few things together, but it's like, I'm like a 2 or 3 trick pony, and I'm like showing Josh these guitar parts. I'm like, it's another song where I go do-do, 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 and some octaves and what it's like, oh no. Oh, like we have 3 more to do. Let me listen to what the parts are on that. Oh, it's the same thing. It's the same thing again. So, and it's kind of like, so it's like I'd never have had the discipline to like become a shredder, and I also don't care about any of that stuff either. To me, it's more about the emotion and the feel of it and that kind of thing. Like virtuosity isn't like something for as far as creativity and music and everything like that. Like, I'm baffled by people like, dude, he's such a shredding guitar. I was like, I could not care less about that. I don't care about that at all. I mean, it's nice. It's cool if somebody's talented or they're really good at their instrument or whatever. It's like the more noodly it is, the more I just check out and whatever. So that's part of it. That's part of my excuse for why I'm not that great at guitar or anything else. And now as I'm kind of delving into this whole video world and photography, I took a photography class in high school where we like black and white and you're developing your film and doing the trays and the whole deal. And so I've always loved that. I did like a book called Pandemia that was like a photography from a band in New York during that time period I was mentioning when I was working at Con Ed. I was taking pictures in the city of the abandoned streets and stuff. So I've always had an interest in that too. I just love film. I love music. I love art, like I'm a huge fan of those things. When I go to a city on vacation, I go to the art museums, I go see bands live. It's like I went to Ireland last Christmas, and it's like I went to like 3 shows. I went to 6 museums. And so that's what really keeps me going. I'm about all things art. I'm just totally into it.
Yeah. So you said you're primarily a bass player?
I mean, band wise, I was always playing bass and singing. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you checked out the Facebook group Punk Rock Bass Players yet?
No. Is that a good one?
Well, I just interviewed the founder of it.
Oh, really? Cool.
And he's just like, I got tired of hearing about like Jocko and Flea, so I started punk rock bass players.
Dude, some of the punk bass players are insane. Like the bass player for Rancid, that guy's nuts.
Yeah.
Even Fat Mike, who I don't like as a personality, he did some video I saw the other day where he's playing, here's the riff from I'm like, that is crazy.
Yeah, I was actually impressed when I saw him play. Because I think I saw some of his videos too. I was like, he's a good bass player.
He is. Well, those guys are really good, man. I mean, better than me, that's for sure.
I started on bass too, so
cool.
I kind of have a love for the bass, for sure. It's such a fun instrument to play.
It is. Yeah, I've been really enjoying playing bass in 10 Killer because I'm not the principal person. Right. So like I never really just played bass in a band where I wasn't the singer or like whatever. So it's been really fun doing that. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, I think my last fun band was I played bass and that was my role. And I'm like, this is so nice. I don't have to write anything. I just show up. It was so much fun. And then I kind of switched to guitar, and then it's like I have to write all the music. It's like it's not as fun.
Can only put so many bar chords in so many places before you have to be like, is there like an alternate tuning I'm missing here or something? This doesn't. I can only drop tune so many times.
Yeah,
you know.
Like, one band we did a D standard.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Because I can't figure out any other things than the power chords.
We tune a half step down. That was a Blenderhead trick. Everybody's like, I can't figure out anything you're playing. I'm like, because we're tuned a half step down. Like the entire instrument's tuned a half step down. So we do that in Spoken in Tongues too, which makes it very confusing to show somebody a song. Like it's C, but not really C. It's this other note.
Right. Is that to kind of be more in your vocal range?
Yeah, and just makes it a little bit heavier on the low end. So I'm looking for heavy guitars for the most part. Yeah.
So for Spoken Tongues, are you doing all the writing?
Yeah.
Still? Okay.
Yep. Yeah. Clark has a lot of latitude to come up with his drum parts, and Josh Rosa, our bass player, usually comes with a lot of his stuff. But I write the whole song and demo it out completely for the most part. Yeah, I was in a songwriting group that's sadly now defunct, but the last EP and all the songs on this record, except for like one, I wrote in that group. That was really cool. I was with Ethan Luck, that was like in the Dingies and a bunch of different bands, and plays with Max McNown now, and Southern California guy. And so we had like a weekly like lyrical prompt. So everybody would take a turn and then provide a lyric, and then you'd have a week to demo a song of some kind. And that was really great. I love that. I have a hard time. It's kind of like the whole binge watching thing. It's like if I have a deadline, I have to either self-impose a deadline or like have someone put a deadline on me or like whatever, or I will just let things kind of. I tend to get tunnel vision where I'll like right now I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do stuff. I'm buying tripods and cages for my phone and like, you know what I mean? Right. And then it was like we had taken a break from doing the record, just some family stuff going on with other people, and we just got back to that. And then now I'm like kind of got back into that. I got drums. Bought a drum kit to have a house drum kit here, and I got these Ludwig Vistalite drums. And then it's like I had always wanted to play drums. When I managed that School of Rock, I would come in early and play drums and like whatever. And then for like 3 months, I've been playing drums for like an hour every day. And then it's just like I kind of get sucked into like one thing, and then to the detriment of everything. Like nothing else exists. It's like I'm play drums now. I'm gonna play drums every day. And then it's like, and then I just bought a JCM 800 as like my dream amp that I wanted like my whole life because of Brian Baker and Ian Mackay, and that's why I play SGs or whatever. Same thing. And so I got my dream guitar rig, and then I was in the guitar zone again. I was like, yes, I got my JCM 800. Now I'm going to play guitar every day. And then so it's like, come on, man. Can't you do a little guitar, a little drums, a little photography, a little of this? It's like, for whatever reason, I just get like very myopically focused on whatever the thing is. So.
Yeah.
Which can be good if you want to get something done, I guess. But
right. I was going to say, I kind of do that too, I think. I like I have so many hobbies. I like gemstones. I like fountain pens, and so I just dive into it.
Fountain pens. Haven't tried that yet.
Most random things in the world. You know?
I love it.
I'm the classic, like, I like shiny objects.
Okay. Great.
And like I
I love
inherited
it.
my grandma's pens,
Okay.
and she had some fountain pens. So I was like, "Ooh, I should probably research them." And then I'm like, "Ooh, these pens are cool. Oh, you could still buy some. Oh, that's not that bad. Okay, and, and then now I have like 20."
Nice.
And like I did the same with gemstones, and like my oldest was really into dinosaurs, and so we'd study, or they'd mention minerals and stuff like that, and you're like, "Ooh, that's kind of cool." And then you like see them cut, and you're like, "Oh, what's that? Like that's different." Then you go into the world of lapidary, and start looking up the miners and stuff who were digging them up.
Slippery slope.
It's
You're like trying to get the whole family to go Knott's Berry Farm just so you can do the pan for gold thing over there.
I have ordered the dirt for sure.
Nice.
Because there's some mines near us, and you can buy, they call it ore bags, and it's basically
Really?
just their tailings as they dig through the new tunnels. They'll just throw a bunch of dirt out, but it has chunks of tourmaline or quartz and stuff like that.
Whoa.
And so you can buy a bag, and then you just go through it at home.
You have a sifter or something that you use?
I have a couple of sifters. Yep.
Wow. This is sick.
Then I met. And then I met I found a lapidary in Oregon who can cut them.
Wow.
And so I sent him
a lapidary?
Yeah.
Never heard that in my life till just now.
So the lapidary is the people who make the jewel.
Okay. They make this rough whatever it is into something that's a jewel.
Yeah. So I've taken some of these little things I found and then sent it to him, and you get it back and you're like, this is why people fought over these things.
You got anything in there? Let me see one of these things.
Yeah, let me grab one. I'm gonna let.
I want to see a fountain pen, and I want to see a jewel. Or I'm not getting off this call until I do.
All right, we'll do. We'll start with the fountain pen. So these were actually my grandma's, and they're probably from the 30s or 40s.
Whoa. Now, do those have a cartridge, or they have like a thing in the body that you have to like pour ink in there or something?
So this one. It's hard to show. Has this like thing right here.
Yeah.
That you would push it and it sucks it up.
Whoa.
So you'd put the tip in, the ink, and then that's supposed to suck it up.
Like a little plunger.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then this other one, it's another little fountain pen.
They are cool looking.
And then this one has like this thing right here that kind of does a similar thing, kind of sucks it up.
Okay. So you have to have the little bottle of ink, and then you dip it in there.
Yeah, which I have.
Wow. What are you doing with those things?
Right. Well, my grandma's I now just have in a nice little case to display, but like this is one I'll use.
Okay.
You could get this one. It's probably like $10 at Amazon or something. And
That's sick.
I'll just write in my journal with them.
Okay.
Nothing profound.
I suddenly feel very inadequate with my G2 pilots. That's my go-to pen. Is my G2 pilots. I probably have like 30 of these.
I mean,
different
those
colors and whatever.
That is a classic pen for sure.
Yeah.
And then gemstones.
Oh, yes. How could I forget? Whoa! Look at that.
So this is aquamarine.
This is one that your guy did. You're gone.
Yeah. So this was just a rough. It looked like a stone, and he polished it into the pear shape.
Nice. That's cool.
He also did this one for me. It's like a rose quartz.
That's cool.
And so that came in just like, a chunk in the dirt that I bought. And then
from one of the bags of dirt, or
yeah.
Really?
So this one is from the hog mine in Georgia, I think.
What the hell?
And these are little garnets. So
like
this is what it comes.
Ship it to you? You buy it online or something? They ship you the dirt?
So a lot. Wait,
let me see that one again. What's that?
So these are garnets from a place. So that's kind of how it comes.
Yeah.
When you're looking through the dirt, it just looks like little rough things.
This is fascinating.
Right?
What was the name of the person that cuts the stone again?
They are called a lapidary.
A lapidary.
And then this is another one that he cut for me.
I'm going to tell people when I fly from now on, when they ask me what I do, I'm going to say I'm a lapidary.
So this is a pink tourmaline. It's hard to tell the color. But
it looks purple. That's cool, though.
Yeah. And this was like just a small little marble almost looking thing. And he created this thing.
That's cool. Lapidary. How have I gotten to this point in my life having never heard that before.
I don't know, man.
I'm just not living, clearly. Whoa.
And this one was just like a little sliver
Yeah.
that he kind of shaped and like beveled the edges a little bit.
Yeah. What's
and that's
that?
So this is a green beryl.
Whoa.
Which a beryl is emerald,
Huh?
sapphire. No, emerald. I guess emerald would be the famous one. Sapphires are same as rubies.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so lots of fun.
All right.
But
into it.
It's...
I got to be careful. I'll be ordering dirt on the internet and sitting out on my porch with my little sifter.
I could see that in Tennessee.
What are you doing now, Billy?
Yeah.
I gotta finish this. I gotta send it to my lapidary. You're what?
Don't worry about it. It'll be cool when it comes back.
It's Chad's fault.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
Because I usually will like get excited about something and just like tell everyone about it.
Yeah.
I've gotten some people who get into it and I'm like, cool, have fun. I'm going to go do something else.
I've moved on to bassoons
Yeah.
and other wind instruments.
Yeah. Almost.
That's cool. Thanks for showing me that.
Yeah, it's fun.
I could see myself owning a fountain pen. Maybe just for signing things whenever I need to sign a letter or something.
There you go.
Big fancy signature.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those, if you are into kind of like process or upkeep, I guess. Like you have to fill them. You have to clean them out occasionally. So I mean, it's not like you could just always grab it and you're good to go, like a ballpoint. But
that might be a problem.
Yeah,
I don't like working on anything. Like Josh is making fun of me. He's like, "Oh, you bought a brand new. Like you're gonna break your back carrying that amp around." It's like I don't care.
Yes.
But I didn't want to get the vintage because like he has several Vespas and like every time he tries to go ride them, they break. And I'm just like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I want the thing that has a warranty that some other person has to fix. And I just want to enjoy it.
Yeah. Yeah. My dream is like an old truck from like, the 70s or 80s. And it's like, I don't want to have to learn how to maintain it.
No.
I want to get to from point A to point B.
Yeah. You want one that's been refurbished, that's ready to go. Yeah.
And or one that has like the new built engine dropped in, and
that's what I mean. Yeah. Somebody restored it.
Yeah.
Painted it, put all new stuff in there. Got some cool shots on your wall back there. Just admiring your photos while you're
Yeah, so the big one over there is Van Halen. And then there's a Sex Pistols and Ramones.
Is the Sex Pistols the bottom right? Or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that, and it was taken by Richard E. Aaron. I went to some photo show, and I saw that picture, and I was like, that is a cool shot. It's focused mostly on Sid Vicious playing bass, and it was from I think their first tour to the States. And he was the photographer that traveled with them. Or they actually like told him like, hey, we're going to be here. And I ended up meeting him.
Really?
And then he gave me like he threw in the Ramones picture too.
Dang.
I ended up with 3 Sex Pistol prints and then 2 Ramones prints. Basically for the price of 2.
Amazing.
He's like, my girlfriend said I should sweeten the deal. I'm like, okay, cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we met for bagels out in LA, and he was saying, did you see that movie, Sid and Nancy? I'm like, yeah, of course. He's like, the scene where someone is taunting Sid Vicious and he takes his bass off and hits him with it?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, that happened, but that guy ducked, and I was the guy behind him, and I got hit in the head with his bass.
Whoa. That's crazy.
And he's like, Sid's like, saw that he hit me, and he's like, my gosh, and like stop playing. He's like, no, just keep playing. I'm good. That
is crazy.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it was back when, I had disposable income and no one to take care of.
Yeah. Before the dogs and the jewels and the fountain pens.
Yeah. That was
I'm not going to throw your family in there. I'm sure that doesn't cost anything.
Yeah. Yeah. Not at all. Well, we talked about how you live a life of creation. Is there a creative process that you kind of follow as you put these projects together and stuff.
Yeah. I think like I get inspired a lot, probably unsurprisingly so, by like film and shows and stuff like that. Like there's a song on the new record called Worst Kept Secret. That the second verse is about the singer Lissy, who I discovered through the show Loudermilk. I don't know if you ever saw that show, but
Sounds familiar.
yeah, she's like a singer, and there's like kind of a pivotal scene in the show where the main guy is a rock critic. The guy Loudermilk or whatever is like a rock critic, and he's listening to this vinyl of this song, and I'm like, oh man, that song is so cool. And then she ends up becoming a character like in the show. So it's kind of, there's a whole second verse that's about Lissy and whatever. And it was inspired by that show. A lot of times I have like a notes section in my phone where I'll just write down song titles. When it comes to music stuff and putting records together or anything like that, I'm pretty like, I don't know if organized is the right word, but I have like a method to the whole thing where it's like, I already have the cover. I already know what the title is going to be. I kind of like build off of that through. And then like I went back and listened to all the demos that I had done the previous year and kind of tried to see like stylistically and lyrically and everything, like, which ones go together, and then kind of eliminating down from that and whatever. And then as far as writing, like it's just all different. But usually, like these days, I'll just go into my DAW Logic Pro and start with a drum beat at a certain tempo or whatever. And then I'll either do a bass part or a guitar part. A lot of times these days it's guitar first and then bass, and then always the music first and then lyrics after for the most part. I mean, I just am writing and in my note thing, like just different lyrics and different stuff and whatever. Having the structure of the songwriting group was very helpful because I had like a cue every week of like, here's a line or something to whatever, which was really helpful. I may just do a self-imposed thing like that again as I'm getting ready for the next record, to kind of keep myself accountable. But I liked that structure of just trying to write something once a week. It was also cool to be in a group like that because I wasn't constrained stylistically, because like in my band, it's a very specific thing. It's like, this is what we do. I'm not trying to be Radiohead or something. Like I'm doing a very specific thing that I want to sound a certain way. And, I'm doing stuff with synthesizers and, ballads and a song with acoustic guitar, which I would never do, or, piano or whatever. So it was kind of cool to like stretch into those different things.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always trying different things, and being in the different bands where I have a different roles helps too with all that kind of stuff. And I'll get inspired by hearing stuff like that. Mike's one of my favorite songwriters, so I'm always, I just recorded bass for a couple songs for 10 Killer that kind of sparked some stuff with me. I was like, oh man, I love this riff, or like whatever. But yeah, I'm constantly consuming, watching film and shows and different things, and then synthesizing ideas from those things I'm always inspired by, and then just life and whatever. But yeah.
Have you ever heard of the program Muse Score?
Mm-mm.
You should check that out.
All right.
It's a musical composition program, and it's free, and that was life-changing for me.
Cool.
As far as, because, once COVID happened, you were a one-man band all of a sudden, because you can't do anything. And I hadn't been in a band in a while either. I was like, I'm kind of bored just writing acoustic guitar riffs at this point. I don't like my voice, so I'm like, how can I create bigger songs by myself? And Muse Score, it's a musical composition thing, so as long as you kind of have a little basic understanding of musical notes, you can take your chord progression, write it out in piano, and then from there, you can go, okay, I want violins, I want a cello in this part, and then you can just write in the notes. And then if you're in the whatever key you're in, it's going to all be in the right key at that point.
I don't even know what key anything I write is in.
Right. I mean, me neither.
It's the 6th fret, and then I go from that 2 frets down over to this one with the dot on it over there.
Right. Just hit the dot.
Which is dumb because I know how to read music. I can play classical music on the piano, and I can read music, but like something in my brain has not been able to figure out like how to translate that to the guitar. If I sit down and go, okay, this is E, and then go each fret, I can work and I generally know if I'm playing open chords is a G chord, D chord, whatever, that kind of stuff. But I need help. Well, and we should use that.
I think that kind of has helped me a little bit because
Okay.
it's helping me visualize music differently. But see, I used to play trumpet and a little piano, so I
I
have a
played
little.
trumpet too. Look at us, brothers of the trumpet.
Yeah. I that's one of my biggest regrets was giving up trumpet and piano just to play like punk music.
I mean, that sounds great.
It was fun. The music director at high school was a total dick. So
Yeah, mine too.
he ruined it for me. And my dad, who is a music teacher, was like, I don't blame you for quitting.
Yeah.
Like, it was that bad. And he was a trumpet player too. And he was very happy that he had a son playing trumpet. And
Oh boy.
he understood why I quit. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it was fun to like kind of tap into the old knowledge and kind of be able to write it out. I can send you some of the stuff I've done. Like, it's nothing special, but being someone who doesn't have a band, it's been a way for me to elaborate on ideas on my own.
That's cool. I'm into it.
Yeah.
I wrote it down. I pulled up the website and everything.
Yeah. I got my dad to check it out, and he was like, that was like one of the best gifts I've ever given him. Because he
should pay you.
He had like a thick notebook of songs that he's composed throughout the years because he was a music teacher.
Yeah.
And he's like, I had no way of ever hearing that stuff unless I had someone play it.
Yeah.
He's like, but now I can type it in and I have the instruments play it, or the, virtual instruments play. He's like, some of it's good, some of it, probably best no one heard it.
It's just for me.
Yeah.
It's for me time.
It was just like very fulfilling for him to kind of hear these things that he wrote a long time ago.
That's cool.
Actually, kind of audibly, I guess.
Yeah.
You kind of touched on it a little bit, but how important is the creative community?
I mean, all my friends describes, they're all doing music or creativity in one way or the other for the most part. I don't have a lot of, what's a nice way to say, square, or I don't know, people that, everybody that I know are like band people or whatever. It's usually their spouses are the only people I know that just have regular things where they don't do anything. But I think just by the nature, my last job, I worked at Orca and I was the marketing director. So like I worked with photographers and graphic designers, and same thing at Tooth and Nail. I was hiring, creative people all the time. And in the same way that I enjoy participating in the arts and going to films and music and all that kind of stuff, I mean, I definitely enjoy being around people that have that kind of mindset about life. I mean, I think it's different than people whose ambitions are the straight world ambition of, all the things I don't care about, plan for the future, got to plan out your career. And what's the next thing that I can get to the next role and come up the ladder and do that, not that that's wrong. That's fine. That's a one way to live life, I guess, but it's just never been the way that I worked. And, if I had my way, and I think this describes a lot of people I know that are inherently creative, it sucks to be in this society and in this country, and where it seems like less and less art and music and film and all this stuff and painting and everything else is being devalued. And now with the rise of AI and all these different things, they're cutting arts education and music education and all these things. Besides being so good for your brain, they're just good for society. It's enriching for us as people, to have these things, to express these things. Like I went to see Hamnet, that movie Hamnet, the other night, and I'm into all things Ireland, right? I'm very obsessed with Ireland in general.
Dude,
but
it's the best.
I've been twice, and everybody's like, where are you going to go next? Sweden or somewhere? I'm like, I think I'm just going to go back to Ireland for a third time. But Jessie Buckley, who's one of the stars of that, her performance in that is just unbelievable. And also it's about, him writing Hamlet and all this stuff. And so I don't know. I just love all that stuff so much and find it to be so inspiring. And if I could figure out a way to figure out the commerce part and just do creative things every day, that's all I would do for sure. Just surround myself with those kind of people. I don't know.
You talking about like the songwriting group? I'm like, only in Nashville. I mean, because, I have a few friends out there and they just talk about, oh yeah, I go across the street every morning and I have coffee with my neighbor. And I'm like, who's your neighbor? I think it was Ethan Luck. I'm
Yeah.
like, what in the world? Like, everyone is in Nashville, it
Oh
seems
yeah.
like, or
It's a
Franklin,
it's a
or
big music town for sure. Everyone's here.
yeah. And I'm like, I did meet my neighbor who is a musician and everything, and we've connected through that. But it's like, I've struggled so hard to find people who not only play, but just actually want to collaborate.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I'm too busy, or I'm in a band, I can't do anything. And it's like, okay. So, like, I love that idea of just like this group is just encouraging
Yeah.
everyone to kind of just write and
Yep.
pursue what they like.
And there wasn't even really like we would all have to like email it to each other, but it wasn't real big on like feedback or like criticism. It was just like the inspiration of here's an idea, and then the accountability of you're going to turn this in a week
Right.
or whatever. I love that aspect of it, that it wasn't going to be like, oh, we're all going to now evaluate your song. Did you think about maybe moving the bridge to whatever, or making this part shorter or whatever? I'm not big into that.
Did you you should have gone to the diminished chord instead of the major chord here.
You're like, look, I'm lucky I put two chords together that I've not put together before 100 times already. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's important,
Yeah. Yeah, I love that you had that for a little bit. Well, to wrap up, is there any like advice for people kind of starting their journeys, or, in the thick of it?
Yeah, I think a trap that a lot of people fall into is this idea, I want to do the thing I love for a living, which I did that. I had basically my dream job in my 20s, and I thought it was going to, this is the end all be all to like whatever. It came very close to sort of ruining a lot of that stuff, which it often is a story for a lot of people, right? It's like, I just want to take photos, and I like going to shows and whatever. And it's like, but I want to make a living. So then I got to start taking money for this. And then as soon as you start doing that, it kind of, so it's like, I think one of the guys from Black Flag would say that is like, and I think, what's his name from D Boone, not D Boone. What's the other guy from the bass player? Mike Watt. Like, he's like, so you should always have a day job. It's like, you gotta, that's how you keep yourself honest or like whatever. So like, I think the thing is like, try not to put too much pressure on everything and just do stuff. Like, try things and try it. And the only way you're going to find out if you like it or what process worked is just by trying different things and recording different things. And it doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be great. And what's his name? I knew I was not going to be able to remember his name now. There's a guy that ran an online blog thing or whatever. And he said a thing one time where it was like, the whole thing is like always be shipping kind of thing. And that's kind of been a thing like I've really been thinking about a lot lately, is like trying not to be overprotective or too perfectionist about things. Right. Like I've mixed all our other records. I'm sending it off to be mixed this time. So I'm sort of like not, you know what I mean? Like I'm sort of freeing myself up to like, I wrote the songs, I tracked everything. Let somebody else do the rest of it. So I think like what kills a lot of creativity and a lot of people doing good stuff and doing cool things is they're afraid to do stuff if it's not the best thing possible. And it's like, I go back and listen to the first record I missed. I'm like, this sounds like dog shit, but it's like each one sounds a little bit better. Right. So then it's kind of satisfying now to look back and go, what if I had waited until I know every compressor and every EQ, and I still barely know what I'm doing? But it's like to other people are like, oh, this sounds awesome. And I'm like, not really, So I think like just getting over that and getting over yourself and just put stuff out, take pictures, do a show, just do the thing, and if you have to work a day job, there's no shame in that. A lot of people do. And more they're having to, it's just the economic reality of the life that we're living. But that's okay. It's like, find the time to do that, because like, if you can't do those things, at least speaking for myself, if I don't have that outlet to do music or to do creative things or go to shows and watch film and all this stuff, I'm miserable. I guess that's no life. I don't want to live that. Whatever life that is, I don't want to live that. Where it's just like, I'm looking at my 401k and I'm thinking about work and prepping for the next meeting and It's like, that's not important to me. And so I think, just do it, man. Just whatever your passion is, whatever it is, If you don't even know what it is, just try different stuff, pick up different instruments, do different things. We've all had weird journeys where it's like, oh, play trumpet. And then that teacher was, I got kicked out of band in high school. Was playing trumpet. And then it's like, I never played trumpet again. Then I was like, oh, I was playing piano. And it's like, oh, I'm going to learn bass and all these things sort of unlock other things. And so it's like, you never know what thing is going to unlock this other thing or whatever,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I don't know. That was a really long-winded way to say something. Hopefully there's something good in there.
There is merit to what you're saying about just having a job that you tolerate and enjoy as a job, and just being able to be free and creative on your own and not worry about money or if I'm going to get paid to do this. Do things because you love it, first and foremost. I happen to fall into photography and was able to make a living. And most of the things that I enjoyed about photography, I don't get paid for. And so for me, that was hard because I'm like, I don't want to go do this anymore because I shoot photos all day. So that's when I was like, okay, I need to find another outlet. But at the same time, it was also, I was able to support bands and take photos of them and not feel like I have to have them pay me because I had a day job. And I was able to support these small local bands of teenagers, young kids. I was able to give them some really cool photos and just be like, dude, use them do what you want with them. I'm a fan of you guys, And if I didn't have a job, it'd be a lot harder to do that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, not possible.
Yeah. So I think what you said, there's a lot of merit to it, is you do what you need to do to survive, but, don't put off your passions just because you're not making money doing it.
Yeah. And in my experience, especially in music, it's all downhill from there, man. It's like, as soon as you're, you know what I mean? We got to do this tour, and you're hearing about it all the time. I'm hearing about it all the time now. The financial realities of, musicians doing OnlyFans and stuff to make ends meet and whatever is ridiculous. It's like, it's the untenable, and everybody's taking some of the money, agents and managers and accountants and road crew. And then now we got to get a bus, and that's going to be $30,000 and to rent, and whatever. Head's insane of doing this stuff. And it's just like, people love it to do it when it's so high risk, but it takes a lot out of it.
Yeah.
It takes the joy. It sucks a lot of the joy out of it to have to do all the things you have to do for your little 30 minutes of getting up there and doing the thing. So it only costs me money these days. It's a good it's a good tax write-off. That's what I tell myself, at least.
I mean, there's something to that. Yeah. I was going to say, do you see kind of the era that you were doing more of the touring and playing more in that time and era? I don't feel like you see that happening as much these days. Like, I don't see local music scenes doing as much as it used to be. Yeah, it's been as much as Nashville has tons of shows. Obviously, I went to so many last year and then continue to go to shows, and bands come here and tour. A phenomenon's been happening that's made it very hard to book my own band, and that is that tour packages come and it's a full package every show. Like, Menzingers come, they bring 2 openers with them. Like, Dark Church comes, it's a full bill of bands, and they're switching all through the tour through like 6 different bands. Spiritual Cramp, another band I like from California, like same thing. There's like 7 different bands playing across, 60 dates worth of shows or whatever. Right. And so the opportunity, back in the day, to be like a headliner, basically, maybe they'd bring one other artist with them or something, usually almost never more than 2. And then you'd have a couple more bands, right? Yeah. It'd be like a 4-band, 5-band, sometimes 5-band, which is too much for me. I prefer just one opener and the headliner. But I think what's happened now is like every show that I would want to play on, it just comes as a full bill. They don't ever have an opener that's local, ever. Like, it's wild. Yeah.
So you have to and then there is not a ton of free throws from here. And there's a few bands from here, but they're almost always on the road. They don't hardly ever play local. And then when they do play local, they're coming with that package, It's like last time Free Throw played here was with they were out with Narrowhead and some other band. It was a full tour. So yeah, so that's a fundamental change from back in the day. You know, when we did that tour with MXPX, it was just us and MXPX, and then every show there were local people on every show that we played. I mean, very rarely was it just the 2 of us. So yeah, it makes it hard. There's definitely like an underground scene, and there's like, there's a small all ages place here called Dark Matter that I love going to. It holds maybe 50 people. They've like High Viz played there. I saw Off there, like Gouge Away, like tons of cool shows, but they have a lot of smaller local shows and stuff like that.
That's good.
So I had to figure out how to get onto that somehow.
Yeah.
Try not to creep out these kids too bad.
Yeah, because I mean, we are just at the end of Chain Reaction here, and I'm like, there's not a lot of all ages venues, and a guy I was talking to, I think last week or the week before, he's like, it's almost impossible to find small shows at this point to jump on, or no one wants to host a hardcore show anymore.
Right.
And it's like, so sad.
Liability.
Right. Yeah.
We're gonna have to bring back the old VFW hall shows, man. There's still people doing that stuff. We have to bring back the 2-speaker, no monitor, 1 microphone situation.
Yeah. Well, he was just saying, he's like, my band's gonna go do a generator show. Because he's like, we want to play shows. No one else is putting it on, so we're going to just set up somewhere. And
I mean, Jimmy World just played at Arby's, so I guess everything's on the table. Did you see that?
I saw the headline and like the video. I was like, wait, what is going on?
Yeah, ever since that band played at Denny's, now everybody wants to play at the fast food place.
Yeah. Or did you see the one at on the subway?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah,
like
my favorite one. My favorite one still by far is. Gel when they played at the Sonic Drive-In. That was insane footage of them, and there's like kids on top of a school bus and people shooting off fireworks, and like the drummer's literally backed up to the menu, like where you would drive up to like the thing to place your order. He's like, his back is up against that, and they're just like in the Sonic parking lot.
I'm gonna have to look that one up.
That one's pretty sick.
Yeah, if there's a will, there's a way, I guess.
So look for Spoken in Tongues in 2026 on our fast food tour. Be playing at Arby's and Taco Bell, and that's right. Yeah, maybe we get a free bean burrito or something.
I mean, why not at this point? I mean, everyone is trying to figure out how to get business. So say, hey, we're gonna have a hardcore show.
That's right. Yeah, you'll never be able to use this place as a restaurant when it's over, but
Yeah, the Denny's one, I was like, oh, there's some damage on that one.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate you having me. It was great talking to you.
This was a blast. It's a true honor. I mean, a legend from my teenage years.
That's not true, but thank you for saying that.
You helped inspire my generation. I'll say that.
All right, I'll take it.